Koinant, good evening, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. And you know, there's one thing about South Africa and the state-owned enterprises, and that is you can't make this shit up. I mean, listen to this story which involves, guess who? South African Airways. Clueless, absolutely clueless. Put yourself in the position of these 45 people we're going to be talking about here. They've been stranded in Europe for months. God knows how they've been surviving, because Europe is not the cheapest place in the world to live. But they got the opportunity to catch a plane home with South African Airways, didn't they? Late last week. They paid for their tickets. Just 900 euros. Just one-way ticket, 900 euros. That's a lot of money. It's about 17,000 rand, give or take a few. Guess what happens? Extraordinary. An athlete who represented South Africa in the 2012 London Olympics and more than 40 other South Africans found themselves stranded in Germany after a South African Airways repatriation flight left for South Africa without them. Can you believe that? Absolutely incredible. Though tickets had been paid for, and after a delay of a day, the 45-odd South Africans were left behind after being told the flight could not accommodate all of them. Jean Greef, who competed in the men's 94-kilogram weightlifting event at the 2012 Summer Olympics, said he and other South Africans in Europe had been informed about the repatriation flight by South African Airways from Europe to South Africa. We contacted the embassy. We paid just 900 euros or 17,000 rand for a one-way flight out of Frankfurt that was supposed to depart on June the 12th. Greef said the flight from Frankfurt was supposed to depart at 1:55 p.m. on Friday, but there were a number of delays which eventually resulted in the flight being cancelled. He said, "We were told the flight had been cancelled because of technical issues. We were told the plane was going to be staying overnight to be repaired. The 200 passengers were booked into a hotel." He said, "We were told we would fly at 6 the next day. Then we were told we would fly at 3 p.m. the next day. The bus took them from the hotel to the airport at noon on Saturday. The plane started taking passengers." Greef went on to say, "And as we got closer to the end, they just started shutting down the ticket station. They told us because the plane was not repaired, but it was going to fly, they reduced the numbers on the plane." As I said, you can't make this shit up. 155 passengers flying on a plane that's faulty. Incredible. Good old South African Airways. You got to say one thing about the ANC. They really know how to screw things up, don't they? I mean, as I said before, you can't make this shit up. Anyway, this Greef went on to say they had to take 45 people off the flight, and I'm one of them. Greef said he was staying an hour and a half from the airport while other fellow stranded passengers were closer to the airport. "When they took my ticket stub, they said South African Airways will be responsible for accommodation and food until we get another flight to South Africa." However, Greef said South African Airways then changed tack and said this was not a South African Airways service, but a South African government repatriation service, and therefore South African Airways will not take responsibility for the 45 people it left behind. Okay, so let's cast our mind back a couple of months ago. Remember when there was this great fanfare about something like 184 black students being repatriated from China? Didn't cost them 1 cent. Remember that flight? And they arrived in South Africa, and because they had to go into quarantine, they were given free of charge accommodation at a 5-star tourist resort. Do you remember that? And the ANC was so excited about this, Ramaphosa himself actually drove off and met the people in quarantine, and, you know, la-di-da-di-da-di-da, big news in the papers, how wonderful the ANC are. But now what have you got here? you've got, I would suggest, just about completely white South Africans who've been left in the lurch for 2 months in Europe. They have to pay for their own damn ticket home. 45 of them can't even get on the plane, and now they're paying for the accommodation because the plane that they were supposed to get on said, "Nah, we can't take you." You can't make this stuff up. I mean, it's just, the incompetency is a legend. Please remember to subscribe to be kept informed. Ring the bell for the updates. Please like this video. Please share this video. And above all, please stay safe. And just for the record, the cost of the accommodation for those 184 black students who they flew over free of charge from China came to something like 17 million rand, all paid for by the South African government. This is going to be a story to watch to see how these stranded passengers are dealt with by the same South African government.